All right, welcome back everybody. My name is Austin. Hey you, have you checked the price today? Because Bitcoin right now is quietly tiptoeing above $19,000. No big deal, nothing to see here. And although we did see similar prices for a second, about 3 years ago at the end of 2017, this time around, this is so much different than 3 years ago. This is sustained growth, accumulation before the next spike. Very true. We are accumulating for the next leg up. Now, I am not a registered financial advisor. Do your own research, make your own decisions. But if you're asking yourself, which whale is buying? Which whales are buying right now? We know at least one. As we've been reporting, MicroStrategy just raised $550 million to flow directly into Bitcoin. This is either being bought right now or is going to be bought over the next few days. Things have dramatically changed from 3 years ago. Like this, right here, the mainstream media, as well as institutions, are now encouraging it. They're the cheerleaders. They're the educators on what is Bitcoin, why is it valuable today. I want to play 2 clips. First, right here with CEO Abigail Johnson of Fidelity. Now, Fidelity, huge investing company, legacy investing company, has over 32 million customers and $3.3 trillion of assets under management. And I will say, they do have a digital assets arm, which has talked positively about Bitcoin before, but it is a whole different ballgame, a whole different green flag for those assets under management when the CEO starts educating you about the Lightning Network, about Bitcoin.
So tell us a little bit about what you learned and what your sense of where the next round of changes will be driven by cryptocurrency with regard to the investment industry.
So I would start off by saying, this is an industry, personally, I find it fascinating, but it's also become an area that's just, if you're like me and you have a day job, trying to keep up with it is really, really hard. Distributed finance capabilities are really, this is an area that has been talked about from early on, but it's really starting to pick up. And things like the Lightning Network that we're going to help facilitate that are actually starting to become reality. In terms of bringing the world along on digital currencies in general, what we're really, from a commercial perspective, putting our efforts around is trying to connect the legacy world with the future of digital currency. Our custody business around Bitcoin has been incredibly successful. We've got a tremendous pipeline, and it's been really exciting to watch. And so you kind of have those two ends of the spectrum, the connecting to the legacy world and the really new advanced thinking that's going on. It's just become more than I can really feel like I can be an expert on anymore. But I'm really happy that I have a really vibrant community at Fidelity of people who are living and breathing and working on this full time. And we've got a lot of good momentum as a business, which is really exciting. And that's really what I sought to achieve.
Okay, we're at a whole different level than where we were with cryptocurrency 3 years ago. Do you put any weight into this? Let me know down below in the comments. I think what we'll find is not all at once, not at the same time, maybe 0.01, maybe even 1% of these investments over the next 5 years will start taking out a position in this non-correlated, undebasable, non-sovereign asset. It's okay now. Legacy financial institutions are giving us the okay. Now stay with me. I got one more clip for you. I want you to know what's going on in the world. We're also going to talk about the latest DeFi NFT news, keep you informed. But Jim Cramer, to his legacy audience, is telling them too, not to buy Bitcoin, but simply that he's buying Bitcoin, that he has taken out a position, very recently a position, and he talks about when he's buying and why he's buying. Now you'll be able to tell in this clip that Jim Cramer is not yet comfortable enough to articulate the value proposition without help. He immediately deflects. He's like, go watch him, go watch Pomp. But there's value here in some sense. Now, we can come down on Jim. We can yell at him for attempting to talk about it when he's clearly not an expert yet. But we were all beginners once. Jim is at the start of his journey. Watch this and tell me what you think.
Jim, I think that a lot of viewers are going to get very excited about my next question, and because it centers around Bitcoin. And you tweeted that this morning that you think that you'd buy some Bitcoin, but for investors who've been watching and they're hesitant. You bought some Bitcoin this morning.
Yeah, I just felt down back to 17. It seemed like a decent level, and I will buy. Like I usually do, as something comes down, I'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. I just think that you want to diversify into all sorts of asset classes. I have gold. I want to diversify into some Bitcoin. Not a big position for me, but it's certainly important to be diversified. And Bitcoin is an asset, and I want to have a balance of assets.
I like this idea of it being an asset and you balance it out with the rest of your portfolio. But for investors who are watching this perhaps and they've been hesitant to make moves, especially into Bitcoin, what's your advice for them? And what kind of homework do they need to start doing before they even hit the purchase button?
Ed Pomp, I was on his show from Twitter. I think that there's ample literature outside about what it does. But I also think that you just have to recognize the history of it, that it ran up and then ran down. It got too much money, got too hot. So there's no reason not to wait for it to come down again. Why did I buy it here then? Well, it's off nicely from the top. And I like to buy something that's off nicely from the top.
All right, Jim, and with that, we're going to close out the...
Okay, very interesting. I show you this only to articulate how much things have changed. Hit the bell, subscribe. As we get more updates, as we get more insights, I'll keep you updated. If there is one piece of perspective you take from today's video today, remember, the dot-com boom of the mid-90s to 2000 was a cash grab, essentially, but underneath it all, it was promise of what the internet held that fueled it all. It was exciting times. The 2016-17 ICO and the 2020-2021 DeFi boom, not too dissimilar. 99.9 of these cryptocurrencies out there will probably fail. They're very risky. They're all essentially experiments. Little will be adopted today, but will be a vastly different story in the year 2030. We are going through the growing pains of mass adoption. The market is testing different experiments. 2030, or just a decade from now, think big picture. In 94, could we have predicted social media, TikTok, email? Okay, next piece of news, or moreover, an update on the data for Ethereum. We're going from CeFi to DeFi, and we can tell by where the transactions are going. The amount of fees on Ethereum spent on ETH deposits to centralized exchanges has fallen from 25% 3 years ago to less than 1% today. Almost all fees spent on transactions involving centralized exchanges in the past months were used for ETH withdrawals. CeFi is turning into DeFi. These were the purple is the deposits on centralized exchanges 3 years ago. This is where we are today. The blue represents withdrawals from exchanges. Things have changed. Okay, next piece of news involving DeFi and NFTs. DeFi game Aave preps for a January 4th mainnet launch with an NFT auction. So this could be the next trend NFT-wise. Initially funded by an ecosystem grant from decentralized exchange protocol Aave, Aave aims to make DeFi fun. Interesting. But I got a question. What do these little pixelated monsters do? What's the potential value there? Well, in short, each Aave is a playable avatar that represents DeFi collateral that is earning yield on Aave. That said, you can also battle the spooky little critters, level them up, and equip them with wearables that change traits. As for the ghost theme, that's because Aave means ghost in Finnish. So much like CryptoKitties back in the day, they're a fun little game, but they also hold and grow value, potentially. Since each Aave Gache represents locked assets. Its owner can liquidate the underlying stake at any time, but in doing so, the Aave Gache will disappear. So it's a test to see what happens to playability when characters have real value behind their gaming value. Very interesting. This is sort of like, this could be the next Pokemon cards, the next Beanie Babies, or it could be the next, you never heard of it, type game. We'll see. That's the experiments going on right now. Will you be taking advantage? Let me know. Okay, that's the video. My name's Austin. See you tomorrow.